Ooh, creaking. That's eerie.
We're
back. We had to take a break because we did 2 hours in a row because I couldn't tell when the scenes were going to end.
Well, it was a high intensity roller coaster.
I decided to stop on this moment, but I have shown Stephanie Healthy Clint, and she understands now.
Well, there's so much potential.
Find him. What do you think that means?
We saw this before. The find him. This showed up for us already. But when it showed up for us last time...
Wait, did this show up when we dissociated and Sam went after Sydney?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm pretty positive that's when it showed up. So him as
Sydney then.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, because this is when we were underneath the sink at Flynn's house hiding from Leo.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when it said find him. And we left thinking that we were chased, only to realize that we actually were not.
Yeah, like we kept getting more information that indicates that it just couldn't be the same person. And then it fully was a hallucination type situation. Okay, let's find him. Dead. I sling the bow over my shoulder and set a quiver down on the little yellow plastic table next to me. It's got a little cubby holder in the center meant for storing crayons and shit, but I haven't used it for that in a long time. I approach the target and tear off the photograph I printed out of the school's library. I remember the librarian giving me quite the look about it, not that I was going to explain to her what it was for. Right between his turban, though.
This is Sydney, I
Sydney's
think.
being a little shit, yeah.
Yeah, Sydney's shooting at what I assume is supposed to be like a person from, like, Osama bin Laden or somebody like that.
He's being a lot. He grew up in a military family.
Yeah, he's being an edgy little military
Not
dumbass.
bad for 150 feet. I don't remember what his voice was. Or what I gave him.
I think you just talked like the way that you normally talk, and then when he spoke, I was voicing him as a child. But I don't know how old he is now, so I don't know.
Yeah. I smile, holding it up and seeing the sunlight shine through the hole. It's at the moment, though, I start to feel a bit silly. Who the fuck am I kidding? Nobody's gonna kill this guy with a bow. They'll blast him into 100 pieces with a weaponized UAV.
Who's letting this kid play Call of Duty all the time?
Also, you gotta get a kill streak, and then you can bomb with the fair strike.
I always liked getting the dogs, but I also didn't because I didn't like that people could kill my dogs.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, get this kid off voice chat. Like, this is, like, somebody watch this child. I'm worried about this kid.
Also, they don't let faggots in the military. Still, Uncle will dig this. He can hang it up in the garage next to the 100 and 125 feet ones. He's been trying to get me to practice more with the 22, but I like the bow better. It's quiet, so I don't gotta worry about the country sheriff getting called again.
Called again.
And, not that I'd ever admit it, I fucking hate the noise. I think I got sensitive ears or something. Carl was telling me to just use a silencer, like that's how it fucking works. I wonder if they're hinting at, like, autism with Sydney. With, like, the struggles he had with interpersonal relationships, and then they're setting up a noise sensitivity.
And they could... It could be... That could be true. I was just considering him to be a kid who... Like, basically just a normal kid who's forced to be like this hard individual because of his lifestyle and how he was raised, and how even just a young person... Like you should be wearing ear protection when shooting guns. I have a lot of friends who have bad hearing because they were doing this shit as stupid little kids.
Yeah, it's bad for your ears.
So technically, any kid would be upset about how loud that is because you're not supposed to be shooting that without ear protection on. like willy-nilly. And also Carl saying to use a silencer is funny because that just indicates like Carl just watches a lot of movies and stuff because
video
you can't,
games and stuff.
Yeah, because like using a silencer is not for long range shooting because I think it affects how far out your shots can go.
I think it also just doesn't silence the way that fiction makes it sound like it does.
It silences a lot of it, but you can still hear it. Like, so somebody,
Yeah.
if you see a movie where somebody goes into like a hotel and kills a bunch of people with a silencer, then it's like they would still hear it.
I also think they're not very durable, so you can't just keep going. It's not like fucking. I don't think it's like GoldenEye, or you just like it makes my pistol sound like it's chirping, and then I just use it for the entire campaign, and it's fine. I just keep firing, and it has perfect accuracy.
I love the fake silencer sound you hear in movies, like the tuk, pew, tuk, tuk, because it's like muffled. I like the fake sound that they use. I know it's not really how it sounds
It sounds like very distant fireworks.
in real life.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I've never heard a real silencer. I just know.
No,
that
I'm saying
movies
the
are-
sound in the movies sounds like faraway fireworks in real life.
But it's like a thud. It's like a. Tuk.
Yeah.
I always think of Kill Bill, or not Kill. Sorry, Pulp Fiction, not Kill Bill. Sorry, Pulp Fiction.
I don't remember what Pulp Fiction sounds like, really.
You remember what Pulp Fiction sounds like?
No.
In like the whole movie it has a
Yeah.
good soundtrack.
I don't really remember what any of it sounds like, no. I think I've only seen it once.
Oh no, I watch that movie probably once a year.
I've rewatched, like, most of the Tarantino movies I've seen, I rewatched several times, but I think I've only seen Pulp Fiction once, and I think I've seen Jackie Brown 0 times.
I love Jackie Brown. That's my little surfer girl. That's my little surfer girl.
Dude's gonna grow up on dumb movies and video games and have no clue how the real world works.
Yes, I was gonna say it just shows that Carl's sheltered.
This place, at least, is pretty far away from any houses besides my own. I think I've only seen one other non-friend family person out here, and that was Heather's mom, stoned off her ass.
Just wandering in the desert? That's not good.
That seems like a pastime around here.
That seems like a way you die.
It's enough so that they were like, it's just pissing on the road. It's not that weird. We'll move on with our day.
I think it's pretty fucking weird.
None of that group are really into this stuff, so it's pretty alright when I'm wanting to be alone. I fold up the picture, stuffing it into the side pocket of my cargo pants. I walk back to the firing line, taking hold of my quiver once again. I draw my bow, readying another arrow. I'm about to fire. This nearby rumbling sound starts coming off the road around a mile north. Sounds like someone's going off-roading. I squint past the glare of the afternoon sun and spot the pale blue of a truck heading my direction. Through the windshield, I spot a familiar, small, tufted face.
TJ. Oh no. Oh, no. Wait, Flynn? I thought
We were wrong.
tufted.
What the hell? I drop my gear, watching the vehicle accelerate and decelerate haphazardly.
Oh. Wait.
Shitbird, what are you doing?
So we're Flynn.
We're
Fuck.
Flynn.
Okay.
We're just completely wrong. Based on the previous prompt, we thought we were playing as Sydney. I was starting to think mid-conversation, I was like, doesn't this character feel too old to be Sydney? Was what I was starting to think.
I was thinking, okay, this kid's shooting guns, which is weird for how old he was when he died. But also, I was like, no one's watching this kid, so I wouldn't be fucking surprised if he just had guns. Because unfortunately, in the middle of nowhere, that's just how shit works.
We have established that Flynn knows how to shoot.
Yeah, he does.
With
yeah.
Heather.
That is true.
The truck pulls up and comes to an abrupt halt.
Fuck, yeah, we got that way wrong.
I step up to the driver's side window, about to chastise the furry bastard, but the look on his face stops me.
But Flynn is still pretty young.
Okay, so it's young Flynn.
It's young Flynn.
And now it's Sydney. So, we were on the right track. I don't see any sort of jest or self-satisfied mischief as the kid steps out. Just shaken, wide-eyed blankness. Oh, is this when he just killed his dad? Whoa. What the hell's going on, dude?
Flynn, can you come with me?
He's acting weird as hell. Why?
Please?
I sigh. Yeah, scoot over. No way I'm letting someone even younger drive me around. Just a sec. Gotta grab my gear so nobody steals it. Sydney just nods. I turn, walking back to grab my cooler, bow, and quiver. I'm guessing his folks are being fucky again. Still, he's gonna get his hide tanned for jacking their truck.
Yeah, fucking how old is he?
Yeah, not old.
Not old enough to drive a car, right?
I think Sydney's about Chase's age. Whereas, like, Flynn's, like, 5 years older than half these people, I think. He's, like, significantly older. I throw my equipment in the truck bed before opening the driver's side door. Sydney's already sitting on the passenger seat. I notice his eyes, the way they look all bleary and pink around the edges. He's been crying. God damn. You want to tell me what's up? Sydney says nothing. You ain't been killing hookers again, have you? I know the bitches step out of line sometime and you gotta keep your pimp hand strong, but there are limits, my guy. I smirk at him. He just looks down in between his knees, cupping his face in his paws. Ah, yes. Cringe middle schooler humor. Where you say stuff like, keep your pimp hand strong because you watched the Chappelle show once.
or you've been playing fucking Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Ugh, I'm not helping, am I? I clear my throat. Well, shit. At least tell me where we're going. Sydney rubs his face with his webbed paws. Finally, he lifts his head and speaks. We step around the damp sticks and bramble before eventually reaching the clearing.
Oh shit, we're going out to see the body. Yep,
no, this is definitely the day his father died. Sydney seems to get more nervous every step we take, muttering something about being tough every now and then.
That's why he had the truck. He just took the truck and drove to where he knew Flynn would be.
I decided a while ago I wasn't going to pry, but I feel myself getting increasingly nervous. What the hell are we doing all the way out here? Eventually, he comes to a stop, then points past some bushes. I can see what looks like rusted metal past the green. I raise a brow at him before stepping through. I see him, and my gut sinks. Part of me wondered what could have possibly made Sydney act like this. The thought crossed my mind, but I didn't want to believe it. He's laying down in an awkward pose, legs bent up and tucked beneath the front bumper of the abandoned van. At first I think his mouth is open, but then I realize half his jaw is missing, a clear hole visible all the way through his neck. I can see where the spine connects to the brain and everything. The blood is so dark it's like motor oil. Huh. The words catch in my throat. I'm gonna be sick. I hear crying from beside me, and I know he's there. I know he's seeing this too. Oh, okay. Wow. Wow? Really? What did you...
Oh. Wow. I'm gonna put this right up on the refrigerator. Wow, good job. Nice work.
No.
Wow.
It was a suicide.
I know. I didn't kill him.
Sydney steps up to me, a surge of emotion upon his previously blank face.
I didn't, I swear.
I spot the rifle next to the corpse. It's 22, long barrel. A really awkward weapon to try to kill yourself with due to its length. I turn, the sight of it all making me feel like I'm about to lose my breakfast. Are you sure? I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you did.
I didn't.
His shrill yell catches me off guard and I nearly lose my nerve. Okay. He took you out here and shot himself?
We were arguing, and he saw the van and started acting weird.
His voice is much higher pitched than it usually is. Sydney always put on this fake, gravelly sort of cadence to sound tough. He doesn't have any of that now. Sounds like any other scared little kid.
Or like Stephanie. Like Stephanie talking normally. I sound like a prepubescent boy. He left me, then came back an hour later with his gun. He said he wanted me to watch him do it.
He looks like he's about to hyperventilate. Covers his face with his forearms, whimpering aloud.
My head hurts.
I take him by the shoulders and turn him away from the scene. Let's take you back to the truck, eh? I believe you. Sydney's dad was a weird motherfucker. Really, real grinny, like TJ's folks, but even more completely fucking fake. We all used to go to the same church down in Prior Valley, so he treated me like I was one of them. As of late, though, he's been acting real strangely towards me. I always wondered if my parents told him something. Fucking doesn't matter now, does it? Let's sit you back down in the truck, okay? It's warm in there. Sydney just nods. We reach the truck and I start noticing little things about it that makes my heart sink. The pack of Sydney's dad's chewing gum on the dashboard. His fish bait pro game bumper sticker. The Alpine Wind air freshener that dangles from the rearview mirror. All this shit for a person who's just gone. I put the keys in the ignition and turn on the heater and radio. All that the antenna picks up out here is some twangy country stuff. I step around the truck bed and unzip the plastic cooler I've got. I ate all the jerky from earlier. All that's left is a couple lemon-lime sodas. I take one and hand it to Sydney. Here, drink this. His parents never let him have soda. Sort of expect him to hold it and keep staring ahead blankly, but he actually pops the top and starts glugging it down. There's more in the back if you get thirsty.
They're gonna think I did it, aren't they?
Who will?
Everyone. They think I'm a monster.
I open my mouth to dismiss that, but the more I think about it, the more suspicious it all looks. Not that I doubt Sydney for a fucking second. He wouldn't lie to me about something serious like this. But the cops? Dude. Sydney. The angle of the gunshot. He looks up at me, his big eyes welling up. It looks bad, like he couldn't have.
I didn't want him to do it. I tried, and I tried, and I tried. I talked to him for hours. I kept trying to pull it away. He wouldn't listen to me. He just kept talking.
I resist the urge to muffle him as he begins to scream, looking around nervously. I don't think many people come to this part of the state land. Instead, I place a hand on his back, rubbing gingerly. It's okay. It's okay.
I thought if I yanked hard enough... Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Snot dribbles down his nose, which he wipes quickly on his jacket. He just shakes his head.
It fired.
Fuck. I feel my gut twisting at the prospect of what I'm about to do. It's like my insides have gone cold, as if the thermal padding in my clothes was gone. I'll take care of it.
What do you mean?
I'll bury him. If anyone asks, you can say you were hunting down the pass a couple miles from here and he stormed off.
Will anyone believe that?
More so than what really happened. It's very caliber.
Yeah.
One of the best movies ever made. I'll die on this pointless hill.
That's one of the best movies ever made. That's ridiculous.
That's always ridiculous to say about anything, really. It sounds, in the spectrum of things, it feels... I think it's a dumb standard, honestly.
it's a dumb standard. I mean, granted, like if somebody said there's certain answers a person could give me that I'd be like, okay, I can see that. Even if I don't agree with it, like I can get that. You know, like someone's like, oh, Godfather 2. I'd be like, okay, I'll accept that because that's a respectable thing to say. But if somebody said like,
I don't like the idea of the best stuff because whenever people talk about it in those terms, it always has like the narrative itself almost always has to have a certain kind of like prestige. Otherwise, it like as a genre doesn't count towards consideration towards that idea. Like the things that people consider as being the best stuff ever is inherently narrowing in a way that's boring.
A person could say something like Evil Dead, and I'd be like, okay, like I'll accept that one too. But it's like, but if somebody said something like,
you mean Evil Dead 2?
Well,
no one says Evil Dead.
You're right. Sorry, Evil Dead 2. I basically just mean Evil Dead 2 when I say Evil Dead. But if somebody was to say something like, I really think that, can't even think of like Fast and Furious 4 is like the best movie ever. I'd be like, no. That's not a good answer. That's not even a fun answer. It's just kind of a lame answer.
That's so specific. That's actually really exciting. It makes me want to talk about it.
About what?
If someone's favorite movie is Fast and the Furious 4?
No, so, okay.
Like,
American Pie. Somebody told me once in high school that American Pie was the best movie of all time, and it was their favorite movie.
That's odd.
And their girlfriend wanted to leave them over that. And I remember me being like, bro, you don't mean that. It's not the best movie of all time. You're making your girlfriend mad.
You're being ubu quirky, and it's fraying. It's hurting your relationship.
It's so funny. His girlfriend just thought he was misogynistic. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, she's kind of overblowing it too, but I'm like, you both are wrong.
Bad time for a tangent, though. My tone comes out more curt than I realized, and Sydney begins to bawl again. I kind of want to cry, too. I squeeze Sydney's shoulder before letting go. As I turn and head back to the van, it's like this physical sense of dread is hugging me the closer I get. What fucking else can I do here? Turn Sydney into the cops? They won't understand. Even his mom wouldn't. She'd probably blame me as the bad influence that caused this to happen. As I near the abandoned van, I try not to look at the body. Just gotta find a good spot to start digging. There's 2 pinyon trees at the bottom of a nearby hill that are surrounded by thick undergrowth. That'll have to do. Just wish I had a shovel. Regardless, I begin to dig. And dig, and dig, and dig. I pull mounds upon mounds of soil out with my bare hands. Worms, spiders, and other sorts of creepy crawlies that'd probably make Chase freak out are everywhere. My hands start to feel raw. I notice smears of blood on some of the soil I'm holding after a while. I can't stop now. It is already too suspicious. Hours pass. Imagine if they found the body and then now Flynn goes to jail because he's got DNA evidence because he's got blood on this in this burial site. He's fucking up as bad as they do in Caliber.
I was trying to think about who I would do this for, and there's not that many people. It's probably just my brother and sister. Oh, oops, damning evidence. Hopefully the police never hear this in case it never ever actually happens.
Hope they're never suspects in a thing. This just feels very undoable without a shovel. Mm-hmm. Like, you usually can't really dig very far with your hands anywhere, really. Well,
we also live in an area that has a very serious hardpan, so it's probably hard for us to imagine the ability to dig.
But this is like Midwest, so it's not great. I don't think it's any better.
It's still can be very difficult.
Yeah.
Around here, it'd be literally impossible without a
to some level, I feel like your best chance might be to just pick a direction away from society and just keep dragging the body for a while. And just leave them and hope the animals take them or something.
Yeah, like burn the clothes or something.
I'm just like, I don't know how. Yeah, burning would also potentially help, but I don't know. I just don't know how well you're gonna be able to bury it. Also, if you bury him at the scene of the crime, or not crime or whatever, then like if they come here looking for someone, then that's where they're gonna find it anyway. And if they bring out like dogs or anything, then they're just gonna find the body. There you go.
I mean, if you drag it Can they bring dogs in this society? Do they have anthropomorphic dog police that can smell dead bodies?
They might just have dogs. Just actual dogs. I think normal animals still exist.
I can't picture that. I
It's
can't.
It's not that wild. It's like I've talked about this a weird number of times this week.
It's like they're
Goofy
being
paradox.
chimpanzees and they're being people, and I understand what you're trying to say there.
Like whenever someone talks about the Goofy paradox, I'm like, that's not a contradiction. Pluto and Goofy can both exist. There's no reason not to.
They're just too close together.
My aunt and uncle are probably wondering where I am. I don't know what I'm gonna tell them. The truth? No. I'll just sneak in, act like I'm taking a shower and change my clothes, then wash them when I get the chance. I think I finally get deep enough, though my arms are numb as all hell. I glance up the hill and see the very edge of Sydney's dad's foot. Just need to get it over with. A quick tug and haul and we'll be home free. I don't move. I just keep staring at it. Like, it'll start twitching or something, and I'll hear his voice ask me what I'm doing. It's just so still, like a rock. Empty. It reminds me of the upside-down cockroaches that I find in the garage all the time. Just empty husks that once contained life and are now just a shell. I'm overcome with the notion that I really don't want to die. Eventually, without even realizing it, I manage to get my legs working again. I grasp the foot. As I pull it down the slope, it doesn't bend like I thought it would. Each movement of the joints kinda crackles with this horrible sound. I try not to think of anything else to keep myself from throwing up. Or I try to think of anything else. Gourmet salads, fishing trips, barbecues, my friends. The husk falls into the makeshift grave. For the first time, I see his eyes. He's looking at me. Right at me. I always thought that looking at a dead person's eyes would be like seeing someone who was looking through you. But no. It's like he's focused on me. Fuck! Are you? I look down at Sydney's dad, expectantly. No response. One of his arms is sticking up, frozen in rigor. It's too tall. It could stick out if the topsoil blew away. I take a deep breath and step down on it. It crunches like a bunch of dry twigs. I jolt back. Fuck. I scurry back up the hill, grabbing the rifle, the shell casings, and the dead duck for good measure. I toss it all into the pit before fervently covering it all with dirt. It's at that point I notice Sydney standing nearby, clutching onto a tree like he's afraid he'll blow away. His brown cheek fur is matted with tears, and he wrings his heavy tail like a wet cloth. I make sure to cover the face as fast as possible, though I still think Sydney saw it. I wonder if he thought the eyes were looking at him, too. I scoop the last full mounds of dirt on top, wiping the blood off of my jacket. I'm panting. Sydney looks from the grave to me. He opens his mouth, pauses, then quietly mutters.
Thanks, Flynn.
I don't know what to say. Yeah. I nod for some reason. I manage to look him straight in the eyes this time. Where do we go from here? Something happens. It's something on his face. It's like he's not himself.
We'll be okay. We're tough. None of this matters.
Okay.
It's probably why Flynn recognizes that face.
Yeah,
in
he
Chase.
saw the thing in Chase where
Yeah.
his face changes.
He has had experience with it.
Because as far as we can tell, this is when Sam should be with Sydney. And so
Yeah.
that kind of stuff happens. Ah, what a weird detail. It's very interesting how much Sam is left for interpretation. Like, so little is explained about what's going on with him and what it means.
Like, and what he wants, really.
Yeah, but even like half the stuff we think we know about him, we've made up.
Yeah.
Based on what we've seen. Because no one ever stops to explain Sam. So it's very interesting being able to put it together, what's going on. The van jostles and teeters as it careens down the dirt road before the turnoff to Wilma Bend. All this bumping and speeding has make my head hurt something fierce all of a sudden.
Leo, slow down.
The Red Wolf keeps looking over his shoulder as he drives, as if afraid he'll see Clint sprinting behind us. Turn up here. Okay, so they brought Chase with them when they ran from Clint, and Chase just completely
is having a delusion.
Yeah, he that entire scene didn't happen the way that he thought it did. Your place? Yeah, it's closest. Never mind.
Oh,
okay.
shit. Okay, wait.
That means we're not currently Chase.
So we're Flynn, still.
We could still be Flynn,
I think we're still Flynn.
unless we're Leo. Might be Flynn. We might have switched to Flynn entirely. Does this route just become Flynn's route? Like actually
Like
Flynn's?
actually Flynn's
we
route?
just leave Chase behind narratively?
Yay, we're finally free
We're
of
finally
him.
free. I can't believe we just left Chase behind. I told you, he bolted out the back door first chance he got.
There's no back door.
I didn't know City Hall had a back door. There's silence for a moment. I say nothing. Yeah, it's definitely Flynn.
I've never seen him get like that before.
Who? Clint or Chase? Shut up, Flynn. Fuck you. I feel a pinch on the back of my neck, Jenna having grasped me hard.
Enough! I'm serious.
I reel forward, managing to wriggle free.
Who should you think she... Fucking mom? Say mom. Like,
Gonna pull on his ear, but
yeah,
he doesn't have any.
exactly. Tug on his ear. You're right, he doesn't have any ears.
Okay. Leo just snarls like the feral tit bird he is. That's how you know who it is.
Yep.
That's
That's his calling card. The tit dirt.
How do I know which one's the real Flynn? The fuck you talking about, tit dirt? That's him.
You just shoot the other one immediately.
Spital is raging earlier. Leo actually looks a bit conflicted. Leo pulls into the driveway, and as the van stops, he's already out, storming his way to the door. I need to piss. Oh no, that's dangerous, Leo.
Yeah, that's a
You can't piss in this universe. It's not safe. It's locked.
Yeah, duh.
Leo turns the front door handle and, to my surprise, opens it and steps right in. Or not.
Maybe Daxton's home.
I step outside, stretching my limbs. There's not much room in Leo's mommy missile for someone like me.
I've never heard that expression for a van before.
Mommy missile?
It sounds kind of pervy.
What is a mommy missile?
A mommy missile sounds like something like kinky, and I'm not exactly sure what. But I don't really like. I don't know if I'm fond of mommy missile.
The mommy missile sounds ripped for her pleasure.
Mommy missile sounds like. I'm not even gonna say. Continue on.
My mind's still buzzing, trying to comprehend everything that's happened. Chase. That fucker. I think I've been fantasizing about him non-stop for the past goddamn week like a horny 14-year-old.
Yeah, why were
He
you?
has been fantasizing about Chase this whole time.
Gross.
He's been extremely horny for Chase this whole time.
Flynn.
He's super into Chase.
Dude, Flynn is a tsundere. He did not show that very, very much.
He showed it.
I mean,
he showed it a fair bit in that he got Remember when he pinned Chase against that truck on like the second day?
Well, okay, no, but then after we fooled around and then Leo showed up, it seems like we just like Flynn just was like, "I'm done with you, hot potato. I'm gonna drop your ass."
But then he also brought him to the smoke room and so on. Like he keeps trying again with Chase, but then Leo and Daxton and Carl and Chase himself keep getting in the way, and now Chase is just the villain. Like he's just the villain at this point. So whoops. He sabotaged the whole thing, making me look like some kind of calculating, sadistic rapist. Nobody else knows when his face changed. Every time. TJ and Jenna pass along beside me, both looking at a mix of wary and exhausted. Wonder how much of the shit they believed. They're so gullible to bullshit coming from a whimpering face, after all. Carl follows suit, clutching his phone in his paws, but not looking at it. Maybe not all of them, though. I shut the car door and head in. I enter, and the dry heat feels so good on my scales. I let out a big sigh, taking a moment to just not think for a while and ignore the stares in my direction.
Flynn?
The moment lasts less than 5 seconds before Jenna interrupts. Yeah?
Do you have a landline? We're trying to dial the sheriff, but none of us can get any reception on our phones. It's just bars every now and then, but then drops after they appear.
Do I look like I'm 40? No one has landlines these days.
I was right about to say, I was like, yeah, no.
It's a decade ago. It wasn't astronomically unlikely.
I mean, I think
especially out here.
I think it's weird for a young person.
Like, I don't know if I trust them to have reception out here in the first place to be beyond landlines.
Yeah, but doesn't that require like infrastructure to support landlines that this area probably doesn't have either?
They probably have landlines here.
Well, I guess they had to have in the past.
I'm sure they have landline at the city hall.
Yeah, because I mean, this town has existed for a long time, so there was a point where that was the way phones were. So I guess they had to have the infrastructure for landlines. If you built a place right now, like in a place that wasn't already inhabited by people, you probably wouldn't build the infrastructure for landlines. Or you might, because I guess you probably have to for emergency purposes.
Yeah, it also that might be considered a utility, like just a default, like government mandated, like part of what the facts of building a house is, like plumbing and internet and power.
I suppose so.
And gas.
You kind of do. I mean, from the back. Look like you're 40.
I resist the urge to ask how, instead letting out a quick huff of air.
You got one of those dad asses.
Let me check mine. I reach into my pocket on my frumpy ass. After taking out my phone, I notice the signal bars on top right are fluctuating wildly, almost blinking. I try to call 911, but nothing goes through. Shit.
Not working for you either?
I toss my phone on the kitchen island. I'll just get my repeater. Like...
Gun?
Yeah, I was like, gun or signal?
Hey, remember when we went to a place, we went out to, I forget the name of it. We went to like this place that was for your brother's bachelor party, and we had a hotel that had one landline, but it was in a locked box at the front of the hotel. And so if you needed to use the landline, you had to go in and ask for the key for the emergency phone that was in a box.
Why is it in a box?
Because people will steal it or something.
What the fuck?
It was a cordless phone, but it was the kind it had. I don't know. It was like or it was like attached to the wall of the hotel or something. That was
like the coast place where I had the expensive salmon.
Yeah, because there was no reception out there at all.
Shit salad.
Yeah,
let it live on an infamy forever.
Yeah, but they had no reception out there at all. So yeah, you'd have to like if you needed to use the phone, that was your only opportunity. It was kind of daunting to hear that. I was like, oh.
This sounds like the beginning of a script.
A scary movie.
You're what? Don't make me repeater myself.
Flynn, seriously? Are you planning on turning this into some kind of Wild West shootout?
Everyone thinks it's a gun. Everyone thinks repeater means gun and not like a signal repeater.
I mean, I would also think it meant gun.
This is not the time for one of your urban-ass anti-gun lectures. This is my house. Maybe it is a gun.
It's a gun. I told you.
I thought this was comedy, but everyone misinterpreting him. Jenna starts up a rebuttal, but it's already gone.
I don't think they should shame him for this. If I had a gun in a situation like this, I would probably go grab
It's
it.
also just deeply ironic because Jenna specifically wanted him to use his gun in the other timeline.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. You were right.
I head down the hallway to the storage closet, opening it and reaching up to the top shelf. I don't have any small kids to worry about, so I always leave this one loaded just in case.
What about Daxton?
Not Daxton. I hear some shuffling behind me. Looking over my shoulder, there's some movement going on in Daxton's room. Ordinarily, I give him his private space a wide-ass berth so that he'll do the same, but under the circumstances...
Blurriest room of all time.
It's definitely turning into like a fucking Van Gogh painting.
No,
like
I was gonna say
heavy-ass brush.
A Monet. That's what
Yeah.
it looks like, a Monet. It's a bunch of dots.
Y'all ready for some fucking stippling? Look, hey, look, he's stippled.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's got stippling all over him.
That's a very dangerous pattern to give a character that you have to draw in multiple poses.
I'm sure it's just like a layer.
It's very risky. Cause he moves around a little bit, and I need to like cross-examine how they handled his patterns in some of those cases, because it's got to be wild. Unless you're just gonna do that thing like what cartoons do sometimes when the character has a plaid shirt and it just like scrolls with them.
No,
It's really
I was gonna
trippy.
say like Chowder.
Yeah.
Chowder did that on purpose, and it was like one of my favorite design choices because they would use really elaborate patterns for each character, and so when they moved, it would move with them, and I thought it was such a great effect. I thought that was awesome.
Or specifically, it wouldn't move with them, right? Like it would stay on the same part of the screen, so their character would essentially slide over it like a transparency.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. That's how they actually would do it, and I was just like, oh, this is fucking cool.
The salamander blinks up at me from his bed. He's draped in a striped blanklet.
Blanklet. It is a blanklet. What is that? Is that a thing? Is a blanklet a thing?
A blanklet?
Is that a small
It's
blanket?
like a snuggie. Remember Snuggies?
Yeah, my dad got me one for Christmas one year. Guess what I don't currently have?
It's just a backwards robe. You can't trick me.
I know, I was like, I'm not going to use this.
You can just get a robe and put it on backwards. It's easy.
Also, I know how to use a blanket to where my arms can stick out.
Yeah.
Because that was the whole appeal. And I'm like, I know how to do that with a normal blanket.
You could just poncho a blanket. It's easy.
Yeah.
He's draped in a striped blanklet, sitting upright and looking a little frazzled.
Flynn,
He looks sidelong, then back to me, then the rifle,
Oh,
then back to me. I've got tickets now.
tickets now to your death. I'm here to shoot you, Daxton.
Oh.
The interview went that badly?
Fucking terribly.
It's like, you need the gun because the interview went that badly.
Also, there's a meth head with a gun roaming around town, so I got this just in case. The others are here too. They're eating all your shit, probably.
Okay. As long as they don't touch my astronaut dried ice cream, it's okay.
Too late. By now, Carl's eaten them all, plus the box they came in. You know how goats are.
Speciesist.
I hate this word. Speciest.
That's speciest.
It's
speciest.
So, I hate saying it. It's just such an awkward word.
Speciest. Wait, seriously, the interview didn't go smooth like?
I wasn't fucking kidding when I said that. Daxton frowns.
I'll talk to my cousin. Maybe make up some excuse or something.
You look like shit.
What?
He blinks, then rubs his hands over his smooth face.
Oh, yeah. Took a nap and had a real strange sort of vision dream. I've been having a lot of those lately.
I notice the pen and paper in his lap now, plus a notebook filled with rapid scribblings.
I need to write everything down, otherwise I'd forget.
He just has the entirety of what's happening in Echo solved. It doesn't know it. Just all laid out.
You know how they are, where after 15 minutes it's all gone, but a vague sense of familiarity for the setting and time of day.
I don't dream.
Ever.
What does that mean?
Some people don't dream. Or, I mean, they do dream, but they don't remember any of it, ever.
I feel like that means something in this setting, though.
Probably.
I'm worried about what it means that that Flint doesn't dream. The salamander blinks.
What?
I look down the hall. I was joking earlier, but it looks like Carl is straight up digging through our pantry already.
I love Carl.
Listen, he's been throwing up all day. He's very hungry.
He needs an astronaut ice cream to help him settle his stomach.
He just had his 5th worst day, and he's hungry, and he's been throwing up. I had to do some math, because there was the day that Sydney died. There was the day that he thought that he killed Chase when he totaled the car.
Oh, yeah.
There's the day he had a panic attack and got kicked out of, and had to leave college. There's been days.
Well, no,
Carl's had some days.
Well, oh yeah, I was gonna say, that whole timeline where we were locked in his crawl space basement fundamentally, but I was like, oh yeah, that's a different timeline, so I can't count
that. He doesn't know that. Not in this timeline. But Carl's had some very bad days. Daxton sighs when he realizes I'm not gonna explain.
Well, can I tell you about it?
Look, I don't...
It'll just take a minute.
Dax, I'm distracted as Dick right now. Like, as if there was Dick, or...
I'm distracted by Dick right now?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Dick right now?
I believe that Flynn is distractible by Dick, but I don't think Dicks are very distractible.
I mean, I guess you could say a Dick could be distractible, because if you're like, if something sexy's happening and you're trying to like read an essay about physics and you're distracted by the sexy thing that's happening, maybe you blame your dick.
Well, the Dick wasn't reading the physics.
Well, that's what they always say. Like,
he's really distracted. He wasn't doing anything else.
your head and your little head's distracted. Doesn't want to read physics.
That means you're being distracted by Dick again.
I'm just
checkmate.
Yeah, I mean, I like to grant dicks their own sentience.
There you
go. You're distracted by Dick?
As
Ass Dick?
Are you fucking deaf?
No, you're just confusing. Look, I was flying on this airship thing.
In your dream?
Yeah, but it felt real. I don't feel like I slept at all. It's like I was there. So not a dream.
Not a dream.
A vision, a spirit quest, out-of-body experience, whatever the hell you want to be calling it.
I leaned my rifle against the doorway, crossing my arms over my chest.
I could smell the metal of the cockpit, and I could feel the leather of the chair. I was flying over this giant body of water. I don't think it was an ocean, though.
He stares at the tips of his webbed feet poking out from beneath the blanket, as if they would remind him of something.
It made me nervous because I wasn't good at swimming. But I'm great at swimming. I'm a goddamn salamander, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Something went wrong with the pulse drive, and I started losing altitude. Eventually I hit the water and had to evacuate. Everything just sunk instantly. I didn't have time to grab any gear. It was just me, in the middle of the water, no land in sight, and little chance of rescue.
The salamander begins to wring his own wrists, his tone of voice serious despite the absurdity of all this shit.
All I knew how to do was doggy paddle. I remember being really scared and missing home. I tried slipping off all my clothing to make myself more buoyant, but it didn't work. I kept looking under the water for some reason, like to see how deep it was. I couldn't see the bottom. It was so dark. The top of the water was warm, but even like 5 feet down it was freezing. I kept trying to pull my legs up because I didn't like them being down in the cold, dark space. It was like I was afraid something was down there. Even though it hurt my eyes, I wouldn't stop pushing my head under to look, to be sure it was safe.
He peers up at me now, a strange sort of expression on his face I can't really name.
Just as it was getting dark, I glanced down into the depths and saw orange and black. It was you.
I crossed my arms just a little tighter, my frown deepening.
You were so far down, I could just barely make out your general shape and your eyes. They were hollow, empty, nothing. Even though I forgot most of the other details, that face stuck with me.
I unconsciously rub at my own eyes, still there, as far as I can see.
I was terrified, but there was nowhere I could swim. I was afraid if I started kicking, it would get the thing's attention. Despite everything, after a few minutes, I looked again. At first it was just empty, and then this huge head just emerged from the depths. No eyes, and a gaping mouth where a muzzle should be. The whole water got cold, and I woke up.
Daxton needs it as blanket, looking a mix of deeply uncomfortable and relieved to get this off his chest. That's a reoccurring monster, the one that doesn't have... It just has holes for a face.
But it seems like a lot of them have that. Like, Jenna's has that, and so does the one that was on the cliff, the road on the cliff, or whatever, the hills.
It seems more like the road... I don't remember if Jenna's one had that, but the road one seemed to...
Like, the lack of facial features
the lack of muzzle is interesting, because, like, for them, they're like, what the fuck?
For us, it's like a human face.
Yeah, it's like they're describing a human, but for them, it's like, what the fuck? Why isn't it... Why isn't there a muzzle? What's happening? Daxton needs it as blanket, looking a mix of deeply uncomfortable and relieved to get this off his chest. Still, I stare blankly at him. I don't have a fucking clue how to react to this.
It's like...
Sounds like something for a head shrink to unpack, cause fuck knows I'm not gonna try. Daxton leads his head back against the wall.
Thanks, anyway.
Yup. I look down the hallway again and see Carl chewing on what looks like a dehydrated Neapolitan bar. Carl's eating your shitty ice cream like that you like for real, by the way.
What? Oh, god damn it. Carl! Carl!
The ram stops, his mouth full of crumbly stuff.
What?
Daxton peels off his blanket, marching up to the kitchen in a huff.
I just imagine him like scolding him like a dog and being like, no, drop it.
Drop it.
Carl's just like, bleh.
Blech.